We're so glad that you're here. Welcome to the show. And if you're like me and you have children that you're trying to counsel or mentor when it comes to their careers, man, technology, I know that that's a big part of where our children are going to land. I don't know where to begin to start helping them. And that's why we're speaking with an amazing author today. His name is Roland, and he wrote the book Parenting in the Age of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Welcome, Roland.
Thank you very much, Susan, and thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad that you're here. You have some amazing information that we need to help on when it comes to helping our own children. What is the overall message of your book, and what do you mean by fourth industrial revolution?
The overall message of my book is really to create an awareness among parents and create a conversation around how our kids would live and work tomorrow if they are prepared and if they are getting the right kind of support that they need today. Because the changes that are happening are faster than the world has ever seen it. That's why it's called the fourth industrial revolution, driven by advances in technology like artificial intelligence. You have the data revolution, there's robotics, biotechnology, blockchain. So much is changing. The education system is not able to catch up as fast as it should. And so is many other aspects of our existence today. But yet our kids will live in a world a few decades from today. And the question is, would they be ready and prepared to be able to exist in that world and achieve their full potential? What can parents do about it?
What encouraged you? What prompted you to write this book?
I'm a father of three kids that I love dearly. And having spent nearly all my career in three disciplines, one of them being information technology and skills development and education, I was in a pretty unique situation when I tried to guide my kids, help them make good choices. I found it a little bit difficult because I had a bird's eye view of the future, and I could see that they were going to face challenges in terms of the way that they would live tomorrow if I didn't change my parenting style or try and make sure that I make the right choices in terms of extracurricular activities, how involved I am, and so on and so forth in what they do. And that got me very worried. So I started looking for help and trying to read around and trying to see if I could find some other resources or some other concerned parents. And as I went on and on, I started realizing that this is an issue where the fourth industrial revolution has been understood by big business, by the corporate. They are all in it and moving forward with it. Governments are moving forward with it, but yet the ordinary person, the ordinary folk, the ordinary parent is not part of that conversation. Whereas it's really a revolution about people. It's a revolution by human beings for human beings, and the beneficiaries of these revolutions are the kids who are going to be most impacted. And this revolution presents so many opportunities for them, but if they get left out, it also creates a lot of challenges for them in future in terms of whether they would be able to find good work. Because you would be surprised. According to the World Economic Forum, two-thirds of all children at primary school, elementary school level today would have jobs that don't yet exist. And this would all be because of automation and a whole lot of other things. And that should be frightening for any parent. So I had to do
Absolutely. Roland, and you're here in the United States. I mean, is our education preparing our children? Are when they go to school, are they even getting close to what careers they'll be in and what's going to be needed, what jobs will need to be filled?
My kids study in the United States. The education system is good. The challenge with the fourth industrial revolution is really that no country can really say that they are prepared for it. A lot of countries have made great advances. The United States of America is making good advances in it, but the pace of the change is dizzying. So regardless of that, everybody needs to come on board, and parents play a very key role in this because we cannot leave kids just to the education system or to public policy anymore. Parents need to come on board and be part of that conversation because there is a whole lot more that we can close gaps as the education system continues to struggle to catch up, so that the kids who are going through education today would not have too many gaps to deal with in future.
Okay, so but I'm going to stop you there. The problem is you're saying the parents need to have this conversation. I'm more lost technically than my children are. How do I begin to guide them? You suggest extracurricular.
Yes, you don't necessarily need to be a specialist in technology to be a parent that is part of the fourth industrial revolution. I would go further by saying that seeking information and being able to understand how the revolution works is the first step. Acknowledging that it exists and that you can be able to incorporate that in the lives of your children is the second step. And what do I mean by that? Once you are aware as a parent, firstly, you want to ask yourself, okay, how is my child spending their time after school? What kind of activities are they involved in? Should I be getting them into coding lessons? Because everything is going to be driven by the code ecosystem. As an example, our kids tomorrow probably would fall in love on Tinder, meet their partners on
Right.
Tinder. Their kids will get picked up by driverless cars. Their fridge in the house through the Internet of Things would be able to draw up the shopping lists and get stuff delivered at home. They would be able to edit diseases in the family, due to genetic advances and technology in that area. They would probably not have any need for cash as blockchain and cryptocurrencies become more advanced. And if you look at all of these things I'm talking about, one thing that is familiar across the board is the code ecosystem. Everything is driven by coding. So coding for me simply means that it's the language of the future. If we have an educational system today where every kid doesn't have access to coding from the age of 7, then as a parent, you should take the initiative to be able to say, how do I get my kid into a coding class early that is fun as part of their curriculum activity, extracurricular activity rather, as opposed to waiting for the educational systems, because not all schools can be able or are at the point where they can be able to offer such kinds of lessons now. So that's just one example of many other things that parents can do in order to be able to make sure that their kids are ready for the world of tomorrow. Because as they start having fun, in that kind of an ecosystem, what you're actually doing is you're preparing them for the workplace of tomorrow. Because a lot of the jobs that we have today would be automated. What that means is that there will be higher need for people with computer skills, with programming skills, and a lot of machines will take over a lot of what is manual work today. So in order to be able to get the kids prepared for the revolution tomorrow, parents need to get involved and actively participate in making those choices and seeking the help that is required for them to have the awareness that they need to make those decisions.
So you're saying they don't have to have the knowledge, they just need to know where to turn, and you have some ideas for that specifically, right?
Yep, absolutely not. All they need to do is have love for their kids. As a parent, already you're doing so much for your kids in every area that you show love for your kids. You're not an expert, right? So
Right.
it's the same thing with the revolution. You don't have to be an expert. What you need to be is you need to be a parent who understands that there is a revolution going up. It's driven by technology. And the world in which your kid is going to live is going to be very different from the one in which you live today. And hence, you
Yes.
must make sure that your kids' normal lifestyle incorporates activities that prepares them for that world of tomorrow. And there are so many of them outside there. I mean, if you go online today and you just run a Google search around some of this, you would find all kinds of activities that really are fun for kids, but at the same time are preparing them for the world in which they would live, they would socially interact, and in which they would bring up their own kids.
I love it.
A very classic example, sorry, that I would also want to bring up now. Recently, we've heard of the metaverse, and people are already picking up property in the metaverse. Well, that's clearly something that you want a kid to be able to start having financial management classes as a kid at a very young age, because the world of finance and personal finance that they will live in will be very different, right? And
Yes.
as a parent, we will not do those things, but it would be nice if we started early and get them into activities where they play and play, they learn. As they learn, they're getting prepared for their own future and their own world.
And parenting in the age of the fourth industrial revolution covers a lot of what we just talked about. Is that right?
Exactly. A lot and more, because the revolution also comes with its cons. Not everything about it is a positive impact. There are issues of the safety of e-safety, of the safety of kids online,
Mhm.
that every parent should be worried about. Every kid today is connected to a device at a very early age. That comes with a lot of risk, attention span, depressions, loneliness, and all of that. And these are things that parents need to be aware of also, and make sure that they are also actively involved in their community and sharing knowledge. That's why when you go through my book, you will notice that it's broken into sections, and there's a section where I actually talk about what is it that government, civil society can do, because it's not just about one parent doing something, but it's also about collective parents doing simple things as being more active in your community, being part of your school board, attending those conferences for
Mm.
your kids and sharing with other parents. And in that way, as a community, you are more prepared for that revolution, because, like I said, it's a revolution like none other before, and nobody is going to be left. It would leave people behind rather if they don't become part of that revolution.
Roland, I can't think of a better note to end on than that message. Be an involved parent. I love it. Thank you so much. Roland, tell us where your book is available. How can we get a hold of it?
For now, you can get a hold of my book at parentingthefuture.com, and on Amazon.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.